Alright guys, today this is my tropical weather update for September the 12th of 2018. Today's a historic day in the Atlantic hurricane season. We got 4 named storms at once, and the last time that has happened was when Ike was hitting the Texas coastline back in 2008. So it's been a decade since we had this many storms, and it looks like we're on our way to a record 5 storms. We had 2 code reds earlier with 3 storms, but what had happened was, let's go to the NHC site. A subtropical storm formed from a trough that broke away from the trough, and it formed rather quicker than expected. And it's already subtropical storm Joyce. And, well, it's not loading right now. Hold up, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, subtropical storm Joyce won't impact land. It may get close to Bermuda, but it shouldn't impact land at all. But what I wanted to look at is right now the hurricane hunters are in Isaac. Well, if the NHC site will load, I'll be able to show you what I was talking about. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. Right now, Hurricane Florence is 115 miles per hour. Let's read the discussion on that, and let's discuss it ourselves. Well, data from Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft, along with satellite imagery and various intensity estimates, indicate that Florence has weakened instead of strengthening. However, while the hurricane hasn't strengthened in terms of peak winds, the inner core and outer wind fields have continued to expand. Now listen, the reason why they expand is because whenever storms get this far north in latitude, usually they become bigger in size because the waters aren't as warm, so it'll turn more subtropical. So this storm, it's not going to be as big as Superstorm Sandy, but Sandy is a good example of how big Sandy got just off the East Coast. It was huge. Storms that hit the East Coast usually end up big right before landfall because they become subtropical. Like all the moisture in the cooler waters causes the wind field to just expand massively. I can't tell you exactly what causes it, but I can give you an idea. Okay. Florence is moving towards the northwest at 315 knots. The new 12Z guidance and regional model runs have came into better agreement on Florence moving steadily northwestward around a strong ridge located between Bermuda and the U.S. Mid-Atlantic region for the next 48 hours or so. By late on day 2, Florence is forecast to approach the southern portion of the North Carolina coast. See, now this could be a problem. What it could do is it could stall just off the North Carolina coast and head west-southwest. Wait, hold on. Leave me alone for a second. I'm trying to do something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. But yeah. One second. Alright, that's better. Sorry, guys. A narrow, basically, is what they're saying. Like I was saying, it could stall right off the North Carolina coast, which is what I'm expecting it to do, and then just move southwestward very slowly and meander, and that can cause major storm surge for South Carolina and North Carolina. And the rain's just gonna be constant. It could be worse than Harvey, guys, to be honest. If you live on the North Carolina or South Carolina coast, leave now, leave while you can, and don't think you'll be able to survive it, because it's not one of those storms that you can just ride through. This is one of those storms where you have to leave for. They should make you leave. I don't know if they have. But yeah, I'm expecting to hit as a weak Category 4, because it'll probably weaken right before landfall, because by the time it leaves the Gulf Stream waters, it's heading into landfall. Though it's going to weaken. It's definitely going to weaken before landfall somewhat. I don't know to what extent, though, yet. So we'll see what happens. It's not like the Gulf Coast systems where they strengthen before landfall. Usually on the East Coast, whenever you get a storm hit, it usually weakens right before landfall, right after it passes through the Gulf Stream. Because after the Gulf Stream, the water just cooled down significantly. Now, that's Florence. If you're on the East Coast, watch out. Virginia, actually, southern New York State, all the way down to Georgia, needs to keep an eye on that. Okay, now let's move down the list to Helen. Helen's a 85 mile per hour hurricane. It's weakening slowly, and I expect it to dissipate within 5 days. So Well, we're done discussing that one. Tropical Storm Isaac, Recon's in there right now. And Recon tells us, hold on, let me load it. Recon tells us that, let's see what Recon has found in the storm. They're in it right now. I just need to update it. Sorry guys about this, my connection is not so good right now. Alright, come on. Come on. There we go. Looks like Isaac may have weakened slightly. If I get the pressure readings, I'll be able to know. Well, I'll make another video on Isaac later whenever the hurricane hunters are done. But I'm pretty sure it's still a close tropical storm with about 50-mile-per-hour winds. And interest, anyone living in the Caribbean should watch this, all the way from the Leeward Islands to Jamaica for now. Some models show it re-strengthening once heading towards the northwestern Caribbean. I don't know for sure yet. Forecast is very uncertain at this time. What I'm predicting is that this thing is like Harvey of last year, not in terms of landfalling on the Texas coast, but in terms of re-strengthening once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico. So anywhere from Florida to Mexico needs to keep an eye on Isaac, because that's the ice storm. Remember guys, it's the ice storm. The ice storm never ceases to impress us, and that's a fact. Alright, so I'm not going to go on the models today because there's no point in showing the models. The models have done terrible. What we can do for Invest 95L, we can look at the 5-day graphics. Okay, so forecaster Bevan says a broad area low pressure is located over the central Gulf of Mexico. Although the shower activity is still disorganized, early winds are forecast to become more conducive for development. It is likely that a tropical low pressure will form Thursday or Thursday night. Now this is very short notice, so anyone from southwestern Louisiana, Lake Charles down to Brownsville, Texas, and northeastern Mexico needs to keep eyes out, especially if you're on the east side of the system. I'm worried about southeast Texas and the mid-Texas coast. They could get very heavy training bands of rain, especially this is a good tropical storm. It should be strengthening as it's moving towards the coast. So this will be a very dangerous situation that we will need to watch as it progresses. We only have 2.5 days until it makes landfall, and we're still highly uncertain of what it's going to be, which is a big problem. And I will keep you all updated with more videos on each specific system. I don't really have much time to talk about this, but all I gotta say is if you're on the Texas coast, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, please don't